Hey, good morning. Very loud. Today is Tuesday, October 29th. This is the regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Rusty Robinson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Okay, all 5 members are present today. We're ready to conduct business. Would y'all please rise for invocation from Sherry Wintroad, First Presbyterian Church. But before that, I'd like to make an announcement. We lost 3 members of our family here this last week. And I'd like to do a moment of silence for Parth Patel, Michael Corbett, and Bill Shawhan. Thank you.
Good morning. Please join me in prayer. Is this on? Yeah. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, what a great gift life is. And as we remember these 3 that were lost this week, we pray for their families and their friends and our community as we feel their loss deeply. We pray for any in this room who are going through struggles and pain, that they would reach out to you and reach out to others, because there are so many in this community that would be willing to support and love them. Lord, we thank you for our community where we do enjoy relative safety, and we are able to live freely and pursue the things that you've put upon our hearts to do. That's a great gift, Lord, and may we never take that for granted, the opportunities that we have here in Kings County. Lord, we thank you for your each one of these supervisors and the responsibility they willingly shoulder in order to make the decisions that impact all of the citizens of our county. We lift up those in our community who are struggling financially and emotionally and spiritually, and we ask that you would strengthen and guide and help them in this time. Lord, we pray for our upcoming election, for your protection over this process, and we trust you to bring the right people into office as our leaders. May we each be civil and kind to one another in the midst of the differences that we hold in our minds. Lord, we thank you for the life experience, training, and skills that you've entrusted to each of these men. And we ask for your wisdom and guidance as they meet today. Protect, guard, and bless each of them as they carry out this important work. We thank you, and we pray all this in the holy and powerful name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Would you follow me as we salute our nation's flag? Ready? Salute. Well, we'll start this morning off with our county service awards. Who's going to take that over this morning? Oh, Carolyn. Good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. Human Resources Director Carolyn Least. Sorry, that was an emotional silence, so give me a minute. I am here to present the County Service Awards. We're here for a fun, happy day, and it looks like we have a full packed room, so this is very exciting. Today, we gather to recognize the exceptional contributions of employees from the Department of Child Support, from Health Department, Human Resources, Information Technology, Job Training Office, Library, Probation, Public Guardian, and Public Works. Public service is more than a job. It's a calling that reflects a profound commitment to improving the lives of our community members. Every day, dedicated individuals bring their skills, time, and passion to ensure the well-being of and progress of Kings County. To honor this commitment, we have the Kings County Service Awards program, which was established in 1977 and celebrates the invaluable contributions of our employees. This program acknowledges full-time service, presenting awards after 5 years of continuous employment and then in 5-year increments thereafter. It's a chance to publicly recognize not just the length, but quality of service our workforce provides, reinforcing the significance of their efforts. Each recipient will receive a certificate highlighting their years of dedicated service, along with the option to select an award, either cash or commemorative memento. Notification for these selections have been sent to eligible employees. As we proceed, I will present the awardees by department. When your name is called, please come forward to receive your certificate and have your photo taken. Afterward, kindly remain in the well, and a group picture will be taken with your department's recipients. So we're going to begin with the Department of Child Support. For 15-year recipients, I'll wait till Chairman gets up here. All right, 15 years, we have Maria Cristina Lopez. Also for 15 years, we have Kathleen Solis. '20-year recipient, I'd like to invite Marie Waite up to speak. And our 20-year recipient is Laura Taylor.
Good morning. Laura was hired as a child support officer on December 2nd, 2002. Since then, she is promoted to a 2 in 2006 and a 3 in 2015. She is a lead in our office. I have a message here from her. She oversees a clerical lead responsibility, and Angelica wrote, as a lead for our child support assistants, you provide invaluable morale support to clerical staff. Whether they need encouragement or just someone to talk to, you ensure that staff's adaptability is recognized when change occurs. Your heartfelt shout outs highlight individual achievement and good deeds, spreading positive vibes. Your genuine customer service, both internally and externally, is acknowledged and greatly appreciated. From your supervisor, today we celebrate your outstanding contributions, unwavering dedication, and the enthusiasm you bring to our department. Your commitment to provide excellent customer service, both internally and externally, is truly valued. As your supervisor, I appreciate knowing that I can count on you to discuss ideas. Your input and insights are valuable and greatly contribute to our team's success. Laura, thank you for everything that you do.
Our next recipient is a 25-year recipient, Dory McCarty.
Dory started as a family support officer in 1998, then promoted to a family support officer 2 in 2000, family support officer 3 in 2001, supervisor 2013, and then in 2022 to a program manager. Dory, congratulations on 25 years of working with child support services. It is a special day to celebrate your dedication and enthusiasm you bring to our department. You are a positive role model to your supervisors and our team and foster a positive work environment. You develop and maintain healthy and trustworthy relationships with our staff, which shows your genuine concern for others. You are highly regarded for your child support knowledge and share this knowledge for the benefit of our team. You display empathy and respect in your interactions with our staff and community. Your years of service to the community are deeply appreciated. Thank you.
Also for 25 years, we have Angelica Vegan.
Angelica was hired as an office assistant in 1998. And then from there was an office assistant in 92 and 99, family support assistant 2000, office assistant 3, 2000 as well, and then promoted to her current role in 2007. This is a message from your program manager. She's standing right there in purple. I have been Angelica's supervisor for the last 3 years. I'm so proud to have been able to witness remarkable development in her leadership abilities, as well as seeing her confidence blossom significantly. Angelica is a hard worker and dedicated. She is willing to help wherever, whenever, and whomever needs assistance. So true. She consistently exemplifies child support services values of communication, honesty, innovation, listening, dependability, relationships, education, and nurturing. Angelica, you are a true asset to our department. Thank you for all that you do. Can I ask that my team that's here if we come down and take a quick picture?
Absolutely.
And really, thank you. I mean, this is 75 years of experience and knowledge and dedication. Thank you, ladies.
Good job.
Our next department is Health Department. For 5-year recipient, Pauline Dominguez. Also for 5 years, Jessica Pennell. Also for 5 years, Nicole Quinn. 5 years, Patricia Ramos Oliva. I think we have a typo on this one, so I'm going to go with Heather Silva, but Heather Campos for 5 years.
Hey. It's not a typo, it's just not updated.
Yeah. Sorry about that. No, you're
Yeah,
So we got it right.
she's working on it.
For our 10-year recipients, we have Maricela Castellanos. And also for 10 years, we have Melissa Kevorkian.
Hey.
For 15-year recipients, we have Marjorie Batten, 15 years. Also for 15 years, we have Joseph Gonzalez.
Hey.
For the 20-year recipient, I'd like to bring Heather Campos up. And we'll introduce Donna Randall, 20 years.
Hey.
I'm also a talker, so I apologize, but I do think it's important to recognize them, so we'll wait for Donna. So Donna began her career with our department in September 2003, working in the reproductive health clinic as a medical assistant. When it closed, she moved to our infection prevention unit and has worked as a medical assistant in clinic services and assists with HIV client case management and reporting requirements for the state. HIV services include rapid testing at the jail as well. Donna is an asset to the department. Her willingness to learn and assist wherever she is needed is an admirable quality that not everyone possesses. Her dedication and commitment to assisting some of the most underserved populations is without a doubt one of her best qualities. Donna makes a positive impact on her coworkers and the community. Her selflessness and commitment to ensuring her clients are connected to services are commendable. It's inspiring to see someone so dedicated to making a difference. She worked with Reproductive Health Clinic as an MA and assists with annual screenings, blood draws, and other clinic services. When she came over to the IMP unit, she assisted with the HIV program and a disease investigation specialist for syphilis cases and clinic services including COVID, immunizations, STIs, and tuberculosis. Donna, I've asked each of your team members to describe you in one word, and these are what they have chosen. Dedicated, friendly, helpful, team player, funny, honest, kind, compassionate, and dependable. Donna, you are extremely valuable to our department and to the County of Kings. Your dedication and hard work doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you for your 20 years of service, and we hope to have you for another 20.
Hey.
Our 25-year recipient with the Health Department is Lorena Martinez.
Hey.
Hi, Lorena. So Lorena shared a fun fact about her and Donna, actually, the one I just spoke about. They both were working for the Corcoran District Hospital. And Donna left in 1998 to come join us. And then 5 years later, Donna came. So they have been working together for 30 plus years. Yeah, it's been a while. So Lorena is a public health nurse and has been with our department since 1998 and originally started in our reproductive health clinic. In 2014, she moved over to our California Children's Services Division. Her role is to receive, review, and process service authorization requests for children in the CCS program. She carries an active caseload of about 500 children and works closely with the DHCS, which is the state, who will determine if a certain service is appropriate or approved for a child. CCS service serves the most fragile of children in our county, encompassing a vast array of CCS-specific diagnoses. Lorena's expertise in the program has been very helpful for all that she serves. She was given a higher level of responsibility by DHCS because of this knowledge. Lorena is dedicated to her clients and very customer service oriented. She is so knowledgeable and clients are clearly appreciative of her efforts. She is discreet but thorough, and her bilingual skills put the clients at ease. She has always been a good nurse and educator and is dedicated to achieving optimal outcomes for her clients. She is empathetic to the client and or parent and understands the barriers they may experience, either with language, knowledge, transportation, family or living situation, etc. And she gears these conversations to include a team approach. Lorena, I've also asked your team members to describe you in one word, and these are what they chose: dependable, cheerful, compassionate, friendly, dedicated, kind, and caring. Lorena, you're extremely valuable to our department and to our community. Your dedication and hard work is apparent by the recognition and praise that I hear from both the public as well as your peers. Thank you for the wonderful 25 years of service, and we hope to have you for many more. And we have quite a few of our team members here too. So if you guys can come down for a picture in the well as well, I appreciate it. Everybody, even if you're not. Nicole, first five, everybody.
Come on down.
Everybody got the flu shot, right?
Waiting on the test.
How about you, Joe? But if they had to describe us in one word, I'd be kind of scared.
Ooh.
So, Mr. Chairman, I will go ahead and announce the next employee.
Ooh.
It's actually Carolyn Least, our Human Resources Director. So Carolyn has been with the Human Resources Director since July of 2022. She holds a master's degree in public administration and began her career in the county in 2003 as a personnel technician with the Human Resources Department. Over her 20-year career with the county, Carolyn promoted through the Human Resources Department, holding positions not only personnel tech, but personnel analyst and principal personnel analyst. During Carolyn's time in Human Resources, she has made significant contributions to the county and was named Employee of the Quarter in 2015. She serves on various committees and has completed the Leadership Academy. We thank Carolyn for all your dedicated service to Kings County. Yep.
Photo up, photo up. I'm surprised they didn't have you turn profile. Face forward and profile.
Next, we have Information Technology Department. 10-year recipient Thomas Willis.
Hey.
And if we can get a group photo with his department head, John Devlin.
Say software. Or new password. Yeah.
The next department, Job Training Office, 5-year recipient Melissa Simon.
Yay.
Um, Is there anybody else, JCO?
Just you.
Go in there, Melissa.
Yeah.
Melissa, go in there and take a picture.
Yeah. Group of one.
Library, 15-year recipient Sally Barba.
Hey, hey. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Long time.
Vicky, come on up. Vicky Cervantes, the director.
Hey, hey.
I know you have some more library people here. Vicky, did you want to bring your library staff up?
Okay.
Oh, no, bring him up.
Sarah, come on down.
Ah. Good job. Right.
The next department is probation. We have our 5-year recipients, Tiffany, Bessie, and Nias. Bessie and Nias.
Oh, wait, one more, Doug, right there. She wants you profile also.
Next 5 years, we have Brittany Flores.
Hey. 'Kay.
Next one for 5 years is Robert Garza.
Hey.
5 years, Jacqueline Jones. 5 years, Stephen Lawler. 5 years, Ryan Leisure. Also for 5 years, we have Henry Lee. Shayna Mendoza. Maribel Rios. And Deshawn Snell for 5 years. Our 10-year recipients for the probation department are John Caldera,
Puppies are available in the lobby for $5.
next 10-year recipient is Sylvia Chavez.
Hey.
Our next 10-year recipient is Thomas Empey.
Hey.
Our next 10-year recipient is Gladys Sanchez. Our next one is our 25-year recipient. I'm going to ask Chief Baker to come on up. And it's for Lucinda Puga.
Hey.
I want to say we take our social media serious.
Ah.
We have another county we
Ah.
appreciate the opportunity to say a few words about Ms. Puga. She began her career with the Kings County Probation Department in November of '97 as an office assistant. During her time with the department, she's promoted through the ranks of office assistants 1, 2, 3. As a 3, she is a valued and knowledgeable member of the department. She was proficient in all the duties and responsibilities of the position and was the lead office assistant handling payroll, collects, custodian of records for the department, providing documentation to state agencies, and working closely with supervisory and management staff. On August 5th, 24, Ms. Puga was promoted to the position of executive secretary. In this role, she has continued to demonstrate her ability to learn and overcome obstacles and is a valued and trusted member of the department's management team. I personally have worked with Ms. Puga since she began working in the department in 1997, and we've always maintained a close working relationship. She's very personable, reliable, and maintains a professional demeanor while performing her duties. I want to personally thank Ms. Puga for her years of dedication and commitment to the county and the Kings County Probation Department, and be supportive of me and the department. Congratulations on this mile marker.
Please don't sit down.
Ms.
Please don't sit down.
Leonard,
Photo op.
we actually have Leonard, who is actually getting his 30-year service award.
Hey.
So Leonard has been the chief probation officer since appointment in June of 2023. As the lead of the probation department, Leonard plans, organizes, directs, and coordinates the hiring, training, and work of the probation officers, program coordinators, and other support staff. Leonard is a lifelong Kings County resident and has served the Kings County Probation Department for over 30 years. Throughout his career, Leonard has had the opportunity to hold various assignments and management positions, including the director of the Juvenile Center and acting chief probation officer, where he is dedicated to enforcing the laws and serving the residents and courts of Kings County. Leonard is a graduate from California State University, Fresno. Go Dogs, a valued department head here at Kings County. And we thank you for your service, Leonard. And I actually text Kelly Vernon last week and I told her, hey, I think the best person to speak on Leonard would be you. And so Kelly said, I would love to. And so I would like to introduce Kelly Vernon. Kelly?
Statute of limitations are up.
Yeah. It is my pleasure to be here today to say a few words about Leonard. I was actually in the department when Leonard came in as an intern with a couple of earrings in his ear, and we weren't real sure what to make of him. But on August 1st of 1994, he was hired as a group supervisor, a title that no longer exists. I think it's now juvenile services officer. July 31st of 95, he promoted to group supervisor 2. That didn't last long because September 11th of that same year, he was promoted to deputy probation officer. Leonard worked his way through the ranks, serving as a DPO 2, 3, a supervising probation officer, which is now called division manager. We could always just like to keep people on their toes and change their titles. It was my pleasure to promote Leonard to deputy chief in April of 2016. A few facts that people don't know about Leonard. Leonard was part of the only bike patrol that Kings County Probation ever had. I think somewhere, yeah, I think somewhere in a storage unit, those bikes are still there probably. He was a valued member of the gang task force, served there for many years. He was a valued court officer, trained many of the officers that sit in those courtrooms today. Leonard became interim chief on March 13th of 2023. And it is my pleasure to continue to work with Leonard through the Chief Probation Officers of California. And he is a valued member of our organization and always a friendly face in the crowd, and was made permanent chief June 12th of 2023. Leonard, you've done a great job for the citizens of Kings County and you've served with honor and integrity. Congratulations on 30 years.
We need a drone. Hey.
Our next department is Public Guardian, 5-year recipient Alexander Nava.
Hey. Got to catch his good side.
Our 10-year recipient is Gail Holloman. And our next 10-year recipient is Scott Holwell.
Hey.
Group picture.
All right. No. Hey.
Our next department is Public Works, 10-year recipient Eric Archuleta.
Hey.
Our next 10-year recipient is Yolanda Arellano.
Hey.
The next 10-year recipient is John Wentworth.
All right. How many years of work? Oh. Yeah.
Our 15-year recipient is Jamie Solis.
Oh. Yeah. How many years of work, Jamie?
Our 20-year recipient is Richard Pierce, and I'd like to ask Dominic to come up. Dominic. Dominic, will you be coming up? Okay. And Jim Henderson. All right, so picture.
Say broken pipe. My door doesn't work.
Congratulations to all of the recipients this year, this month. We've had a lot of recipients, and this is a lot of years of service right here in this room. So congratulations.
Good job. I was only kidding a little bit.
Okay, that was fun. Okay, we'll move on now to unscheduled appearances at this time. Any person may direct the board at this time on any item on the agenda or any other items of interest to the public.
I have no written correspondence. The first speaker is Sal Flores.
Chief Flores,
He wanted to be last, but he's first.
Oh.
if you ain't first, you're last.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable Board Members, CEO Martinez. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit on schedule. About 3-4 months ago, we started this idea of bridging the gap between, the citizens, the board, and the organization. In the fire service, as you know, the highest ranking official traditionally is the fire chief. However, that is really a false idea because the highest ranking official in our organization is always going to be the community. As we sat there and we talked about it, I reached out to the association, and then we came up with an idea to symbolize that bridge between the organization and you. And what we did is we came up with some helmets to represent your district, and it has your name on it to symbolize, to remind everybody that the highest ranking official in our department is you. So if you give me a few seconds, we'll push out those helmets out to you guys as well.
Let's hope for a truck.
Red lights and siren. Hey, hey. I want a red one.
Thank you, sir. Age, you can hardly hold my neck up.
So if we show up on scene, we're good?
All you need is the rest of the turnout.
Always. In addition to that, we've taken a mission to just reorganize, the aesthetics of the department as well. If you look at, if you have an opportunity, take a look at our website. And we've done some revamping with IT. We've centralized and try to mimic the county as much as possible. We've also reorganized our words and our mission into it. And again, the idea is to symbolize and bridge the gap between the community and our department. So with that being said, I really want to thank all of you guys for the support that we've had, throughout the years to the community, and just remind everybody that, it doesn't matter what department we're in, right? We are public servants, and we serve the public, which you represent here on the board. So with that being said, thank you for the opportunity. I know Ms. Martinez wants to say something.
No, thank you.
So I want to take the moment right now to thank Chief Flores for his time here in Kings County. This is Chief Flores' last board meeting. And so he has submitted his letter of resignation. And so his last day will actually be on Friday. So I just wanted to thank Sal for your time here and your dedication. You know, you will do great things wherever you go.
Absolutely. And thank you guys. So yeah, it was a tough decision. You know, I had a job opportunity that came up that brought me home a little bit closer, and it was tough because this community has shown nothing but amazing things to me, and I really appreciate it. It has been night and day coming to this county and seeing the support not only from the board, from the administration, my fellow department heads, and our staff, and very important, you know, our staff. You know, when I came in here, I heard you guys loud and clear. We needed to bridge that gap between our floor personnel, our firefighters and administration, and I think, you know, that was my mission since day one. And I know Ed wanted to talk a little bit, so I'll step off to the side. So.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, member of the board, Kings County Firefighters President Ed Ryman. We just wanted to say we're here in support of Chief Flores. He's done a great job since he's been here. As soon as he got here, he hit the floor running, and every day we were meeting in the office and making changes. He's really was on the straightforward path of modernizing our fire department, and it's been great. He's made some good changes. We hope these changes will continue to proceed with whoever fills his position. I just wanted to point out one of the great changes he made that all his firefighters here at Kings County Fire Department have really appreciated is he's able, once we're fully staffed, we still got some hiring to do for some firefighters. But once we get fully staffed in the books, we're going to have 5 fire engines in the county that have 3 firefighters on them. And that's huge for us. Having 3 firefighters in a rig is, it really, as far as a community, it really helps us do our job better, faster, smarter, and complete our work.
Safer.
Safer, absolutely safer, but there are some risks we have to take, and that's what we do. So I just wanted to point out Chief Flores has been great. He coming from the outside, looking in at our department, it was a really eye opener of some of the things that we have to change in the future, and it's not, they're good changes, and modernizing. You know, he's also brought the simple things as bringing water to the station. Some of the stations, you know, need some better drinking water. MDTs for our engines. So a lot of other departments have these MDTs in their engines, and when you're responding to calls, you can look at your computer and you get quick up-to-date dispatch notifications of target hazards of the incident. You know, whatever hydrants of the incident, whatever the challenges we're going to be approaching, gets us a quick update as we're responding to the incident. And he identified that, and he's getting that completed too. So it's been great. He has our 100% support of the firefighters in Kings County. We're sad to see him go. We feel like there's so much jobs that you know, haven't been completed that we're going to continue to work on. And but we're going to miss him, and we wish him the best on his next endeavor. So thanks, Chief. Hey, good. Appreciate it.
So the last portion of it is, you know, is what Ed said at the end. You know, one of my missions and my most important missions is to remind everybody that, and as an administration, we're not the department. The department is these guys, right? And we're here to, you know, logistically support them in the need that has been asked by the citizens of the community to support them out. And that's been my mission, and I hope that continues moving forward. One of the things I did tell my new employer is that, you know, one of the conditions that I accepted that job was to allow me to continue to support you as much as possible. You know, so it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm only a phone call, and if I have to drive up here, I'll drive up here to support you as much as I can. So, but thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for this time. So.
Appreciate your first time here, and Buzz Neves has a gang.
Oh.
Again, hope that can here, but I appreciate it. I get your time, and
photo with me.
Absolutely. Do you mind if I get a picture of the?
Hey.
Let's take our helmets.
You got a match.
Yeah.
Light a fire.
Hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on.
Brad's got him trained to cook pancakes too. Now he's leaving. Yay. By the way, turn around. Thank you. I don't wear these often. Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah, put your name in the back.
And the name's in the back?
Here, sir. Take this.
Then where I've been, not where I'm going, huh?
After 20 pounds.
Seen that.
That's, yeah, fun. There it goes. It's not part of the uniform.
Seen that. Take it.
I'm gonna have some,
I had a fire in Stratford like that once.
I'm gonna have a sunstroke by the time you get. Hurt.
That hurt.
Look at that.
There you go.
Got a match?
Got a barbecue. Hey. Kicking in San Luis.
Yeah.
That's all the speaker cards that I had, and no one online has their hand raised.
That's it? No more speakers? Anybody in the audience have anything they'd like to add to today's meeting? Nothing? Okay, we'll move on now to approval of the minutes, report out of closed session from the regular meeting, October 22nd, 2024.
There's nothing to report at this time.
Item B, approval of minutes from regular meeting, October 22nd, 2024. Moved by Supervisor Robinson, second by Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, 5 in favor. Move on now to consent counter. All items listed on the consent counter are listed as one motion unless one would like to be pulled by. Moved by
Second.
Supervisor Fagundes, second by Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go to regular calendar and we have Finance Department. We have Eric. Morning, Eric. How you doing?
Eric Urena, Director of Finance here at the county. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I'm here this morning to ask for approval for an amendment for a contract between the county and Wood O'Brien LLC for the FEMA Post-Disaster Recovery Management Services. As you know, the county suffered flooding in the spring of 2023, which resulted in the state and federal governments declaring state of emergency and disaster, triggering the release of funds for the county to access as it recovers from the flood. FEMA rules and regulations are some of the most strict and complex of any funding source. It requires a lot of technical knowledge of these rules in order to maximize the amount of reimbursement from FEMA. Because of this, the county contracted with Wood O'Brien's after the board approval of the contract December 19th, 2023, to assist the county as it navigates through the cost recovery process. Almost a year later, of the 22 projects developed with estimated damages of 25 million for repairs of roads, culverts, waterways, administrative costs, emergency protective measures, and debris removal, FEMA is only obligated 2 small projects totaling 29,000. One of the most significant reasons for the holdup is due to FEMA and Cal OES working through inconsistent damage assessments, changes in FEMA project managers, and dealing with the submerged road policy. Not to mention the time we had to spend waiting for the water to fully recede before we can get in there and do a full damage assessment. As we've been working through these issues, potential new issues have been identified that weren't part of the original contract estimate. This amendment would add services for COVID-19 non-congregate sheltering appeals related to Project Roomkey, debris removal monitoring, and additional public assistance program support. Wendy is here from, sorry, there she is, to discuss some of the update for Project Roomkey.
Morning, Wendy.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. This amendment includes a provision, as Eric mentioned, to potentially seek appeals on the FEMA claims related to COVID-19. But I wanted to use this opportunity to give an update on the status of those claims. I have some good news to share today. So Project Roomkey operated from fourth quarter of fiscal year 1920 through first quarter of fiscal year 22-23. Our total expenses for Project Roomkey were a little over $8 million. We've claimed $7.994 million. The difference is about $40,000. $35,000 of that is the final quarter. The rules for FEMA changed. We were 100% reimbursed for all quarters until the first quarter of 22-23, and then it was a 90% reimbursement. And then there's a $5,000 discrepancy that we found. It's literally one day that wasn't claimed, but it was found so late in the process it was too late to add it in. So that's the $40,000 difference in expense and claim. On March 12th, I came in and provided the board an update on delays for many of the same reasons that Eric has outlined to our FEMA reimbursements, but additional concerns related to recent guidance that FEMA had issued that put a significant portion of our pending claims at risk. And that was the 20-day rule. They weren't going to pay for stays over 20 days. At the time of the study session, we'd received $3.3 million, and we were owed approximately $4.6 million of the total we had claimed. Since the study session, my staff have met every other week with FEMA and Cal OES staff and have justified and advocated for full reimbursement despite the issuance of the letter from FEMA. So I'm pleased to announce that we have actually received cash in hand, $2.5 million. We have an additional $316,000 that's been obligated, and we expect that check within the next couple of months, and an additional $1.7 million that is in the step before obligation. Literally, Eric, we were emailing yesterday on it. There's an approval we need to enter into the system. And then those two final amounts will be obligated. Those are the full amounts. So it appears that our federal and state advocacy, coupled with my staff's efforts in the biweekly meetings that we've been having, have had some impact because the full claims have been approved. We are not seeing the denial of the over 20 days, even though FEMA has not officially changed course on their position. In fact, they issued a letter in June in response. I don't know if you recall, there was all of our congressional delegates issued a letter to the FEMA director. They issued individual responses back, basically doubling down on their position and indicating they weren't going to change course, but they're approving the full amounts, and for not just our county. I'm not going to poke that bear. I'm just going to be happy. I'm just going to be happy it's coming. As a result, the general fund reduction of $4.275 million is expected to be fully reimbursed, as well as close to $400,000 that my department advanced in the early phases of our expenditures. We are cautious but optimistic that we'll not need to utilize the provision in this agreement, but we do want to have it included. In relation to appealing our claims. We've experienced course changes with FEMA before, and we appreciate having the possible needs included as we await for our three final checks and the closeout process. I think there's some very low risk, but there is risk during the closeout process that some money could be recouped at that time. But all signs are very positive, and so wanted to brief the board on that and explain why we still want to have that opportunity within this agreement should it be needed. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Wendy. Additional public assistance support is necessary for additional project engineering services for FEMA and possibly Federal Highway Administration projects administered through Caltrans, including the development of cost estimates that follow FEMA templates and nomenclature in order to have estimates that both parties can easily compare to maximize reimbursements. Assistance from WIT is also necessary to assist county staff with answering questions for RFIs or requests for information, providing technical assistance regarding the submerged roads and other roads and structures impacted by the floods of 2023. Mitchell Cabrera and Patricio Villegas are here from Public Works if we have any questions for them.
Any questions?
Okay. Wood O'Brien's just, so over the past like year, we submit expense, like project development. FEMA will come back and shoot it back and say like, no, we're going to give you like a way lower amount. So WIT has been able to help us respond to those and increase the maximum amount, for the projects. Witt O'Brien has been assisting the county, like I said, since the board approved the contract last December. They have prepared documentation packets, assisted with responses to FEMA inquiries, attended all FEMA meetings, which up until a couple months ago were weekly. They've attended board meetings and most importantly, been able to help shoulder the burden of the county staff to allow us to do our normal jobs. They've also worked directly with their FEMA and CalES contacts to call together and get the parties together to discuss and work through the submerged roads policy. Unfortunately, despite their assistance, we don't anticipate the recovery process reaching its conclusion anytime soon, as we, continue to wait on CalES and FEMA. The original contract term is through September 30th, 2026, and will remain unchanged at this time. Grady Joseph from Witt O'Brien's is in attendance. There, if we have any questions for him. This amendment would add $485,000 to the original contract of $200,000, bringing the maximum amount not to exceed $685,000. Despite this increase in the contract, the full amount is still eligible to be claimed as part of the county's FEMA cost recovery and will have no impact on the general fund, as the funding will be provided through the California Disaster Assistance Act funds that the county received last year. Lastly, as Wendy said, if we don't use these services, we're not going to be billed for them. They're just there in case. The agreement has been reviewed and approved by Risk and County Council's forum, and we're open to any questions.
Thank you very much, Eric. Any questions or comments for Eric?
Question.
Question?
No motion.
Oh, move by Supervisor Robinson, second by Supervisor Fagundes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Thank you.
5 in favor.
Good luck.
You got off
Keep
easy.
plugging away.
You got off easy today. You didn't say nothing. Okay, move on now to Public Health Department. And we have Heather Campos today. Morning, Heather. Still got her certificate, her heirloom.
One of a kind, Gary.
We'll have to change the name on that though.
It's okay.
Well, you were 50, we'll put both names on there. How's that?
Yeah.
I think the time was in February, and in February I was a Silva, so
Okay, all right.
I guess it counts. It's either one. Proud of both names. So I'm here to bring our item for the breast cancer awareness proclamation. I apologize. I thought we printed a proclamation, but I don't think we did. So after, if we can get a picture with you, I'd appreciate it as well. Also for our social media, we're trying to boost that as well. So good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Heather Campos with Public Health. I'm happy to stand before you today representing Public Health and to announce October 2024 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Kings County. Second to skin cancer, breast cancer is the most common cancer among American women. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. That's 1 person every 2 minutes in the US, and over 2 million women around the world are diagnosed with the disease every year. 2 of the most common risk factors of breast cancer are being born female and getting older. In 2024, it's estimated that nearly 44,000 people in the US will die from this disease. Men can also get breast cancer. About 1 out of every 100 breast cancer diagnosed in the US is found in a man. In 2024, it's estimated that 2,790 men in the US will be diagnosed, with about 530 of those that are expected to die from this disease. It's important for all women and men ages 40 and over to get women to get mammogram, not men, but to get mammogram every year. Women over the age of 20 should prioritize an annual well woman exam and talk to their doctor about breast cancer risk factors to determine when to begin your annual mammograms. It's important to know your risk, talk to your provider about your family history, and get screened. Finding it early and treating it can save your life, so letting your provider know if something doesn't look or feel right is very important. At this time, I'd like to bring up the president of the Links for Life Kings County chapter, Nancy Hitchcock, to say a few words.
Thank you. Morning, Nancy.
Good morning. So she gave you the statistics, and what we do as Links for Life. First of all, we are a Kings County organization, fully volunteer. Our services only go to Kings County residents. What we strive for is the early diagnostics. The earlier a person is diagnosed, the better the risk, the better that they will survive. And so what Links for Life does is we provide mammograms, ultrasounds, and needle biopsies to obtain diagnostics for breast cancer. Our goal is that every provider in Kings County is aware of Links for Life. And if a patient of theirs is unable to afford the diagnostics due to being underinsured or uninsured, Links for Life picks up that tab for them. And so what we need to do is have people refer, especially providers, refer to Links for Life so we can provide these services. We probably serve 6 to 8 people a month in Kings County, and we would like to see that number grow. We have the full support of the county of Kings County. We have a big event, and we have many wonderful sponsors. And I think it has a lot to do that we keep all the money here in Kings County. Besides our sponsors, we also, the Kings County, Hanford Police Department is also very, very supportive of our services. And so what we'd like to do is just say, we're here, use us, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah. Can she hand out one of these? I don't know, Catherine, if you want, you can hand this to the board if it's something. At this time, the Kings County Department of Public Health respectfully requests your board to adopt a resolution proclaiming October 2024 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Kings County.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
So moved.
Moved by Supervisor Neves, second by Supervisor Fagundes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Breast cancer is something that you need to, for women, they've brought it to the forefront over the last 30 years, but for men, it's still there. I lost a good friend of mine last year to breast cancer, and he caught it on accident. It's like something didn't feel right. And then, after about 3 or 4 months, he went to the doctor too late. So it's important, if something unusual in your body, seek some help, seek some guidance, and see where we're going. As we get older, we get surprised with all kinds of issues that we're not aware of. So
I'd also like to remark that some of our referrals that have been coming in have been women in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, and of course 50 or 40s. And that's before that it's recommended that you get your annual mammogram. So we just be aware that it hits young.
yep, life gets in the way. We get too busy. So it's important to pay attention. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you guys don't mind, if we can get a picture as well.
You got the helmets on? They were? Yeah, we could have got some pink ones. Thanks.
And Chairman, if we could take a few-minute break before the Operation Green Light so they can set up the lights in the well.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess.
I also wanted to, thank you guys for recognizing Parth Patel earlier. His wonderful wife works in our department. It's been a very hard week for us and her. For those that are interested, his services are Thursday in Visalia. So if you would like to attend, please reach out and I can provide that address. Thank you.
Back to from recess. Ms. Martinez, please take your seat.
And
Are we on?
just to let the people in the audience know, we are going to dim the lights as a request for this item, but if anybody moves, we're going to put the lights back up. So please be careful.
And I'm gonna need help with IT. I just lost my screen. Okay, we'll move on now for IT department.
No.
So who are we doing next?
No, it's actually public guardians.
Public guardian.
Yeah.
That's why he needs the screen.
There we go. I know where I'm at. Morning, Scott. Hey, at this time, we'll go to, on the regular calendar, we're going to go to item C, Public Guardian, Veteran Services. Scott Howell, please take it over, Scott.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Scott Hallwell, Public Guardian, Veteran Services. I come to you on behalf of Veteran Services and really all the veterans of the county today. And we've got our PowerPoint up. Thank you, Cody, for doing that. I come before you this morning with a resolution in support of Operation Greenlight for Veterans from November 4th, 2024 through November 11th, 2024. The National Association of Counties, in partnership with the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers, has an Operation Greenlight program, which is an initiative to shine a light on the plight of veterans in counties across the United States who are having a hard time connecting with benefits after serving their country. This new program was endorsed by the NACO board at its meeting in July 23rd, 2022. The first time our Board of Supervisors adopted, or your board adopted, the resolution in support of Operation Greenlight was on October 25th, 2022. So we participated that first year. For the period of November 7th through November 13th of 2022, a subsequent resolution was adopted last year in 2023 for the period of November 6th through November 12th. This resolution reflects that the residents of Kings County have great respect and admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who selflessly serve the country and this community in the armed forces. It also encourages citizens in a patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying a green light in the window of their place of business or residence, or on their front porch, or even in their workspace. The contributions and sacrifices of the men and women who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by all citizens. Veterans continue to serve in their communities through various veteran service organizations, religious groups, civil organizations, and by functioning as county veteran service officers in 29 out of our 50 states to help fellow former service members to access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year, with 25 billion of that in California alone in 2022, 2023. So out of 52 billion nationally, 25 of that was here in the state of California. Approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually. An estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future. Studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during their transition to from military to civilian life. I can attest to that. These service members are at high risk for suicide during their first year of military service. The National Association of Counties encourages all counties, parishes, and boroughs to recognize Operation Greenlight for veterans. Kings County appreciates the sacrifice of all United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. The county will be shining green lights on the following buildings or structures. And boy, I hope these are in order. And if they aren't, we'll just go through them. Next slide, please. So this is where the lights will actually be positioned. This one's a little bit hard to see. You should have a hard copy of this. This is the entry coming in off of Lacey Boulevard and coming up Mather Drive. As you come from the bottom up to the top, and then those spots will be, the lights there will have films in them replaced to shine a green light there. And then there will be green lights on the Veterans Memorial and then also the buildings within the courtyard there. Next slide, please. So this is a picture from one of the previous years, looking to the south as we come in, or no, that's looking to the north. I apologize. Next slide, please. This is a picture of the courtyard. I don't recall if this was 2022 or 2023 of our flags and with the admin building in the background up there. Next slide, please. And then this is the banner that we have. There's a banner. Previous slide, please. There's a banner in the back of the room here that matches that. And then this banner will also be out front in the flower bed right by the POW MIA flag off in the corner over there. Next slide. And then we have another picture. This one is facing south. Everyone should recognize this as the Freedom Memorial lit up in green. Folks, if you haven't had a chance to get out and see this, please come out and see this November 4th through November 11th. It's quite a sight to see. Next slide. And then this is another picture of, I believe that's the admin building as we come up. And then next slide. This is a building as we're facing west where the courts used to be. That was Department 1, I think, over there, Department A. And now there's some HSA functions within that building off to the west side of the courtyard. Next slide, please. And then I believe this is our final slide. And everybody recognizes this is the new King's building, the newly renovated building where both HSA and behavioral health have offices there. And so those are the planned buildings that will be lit up for our participation in Operation Greenlight this year. As far as fiscal impact goes, there's no impact to the general fund as the materials from 2023 are still reusable. And the labor, let's talk about the labor real quick. I'm just the schmuck that stands up here and presents in front of the board. Did a little bit of rearranging of a PowerPoint presentation. But the real guys in back, we got Jim and Jamie representing their department in back, and the guys that work from them work tirelessly and effortlessly and provide their talents, pardon me, and their innovation in order to make this happen. So they're the boots on the ground, and they're the ones that are doing the real work making this thing happen, the green lights that are here today. And so I want to recognize them, and I want to tell them how much we appreciate their contributions. So back to fiscal impact. Actually, this program will most likely attract current and soon-to-be veterans to seek out Kings County Veteran Services for assistance, which may bring additional millions of dollars to the county in the form of monetary benefits, not necessarily directly into the county's coffers, but it's money that will be their cash payments that are directly brought into veterans here in the county based on service-connected disability benefits. The county's veteran population is approximately 8,500, but only about 4,100 are in receipt of Veterans Administration benefits. That's why we're increasing and trying to become more robust in our outreach, with Operation Greenlight being one of those outreach opportunities. In fiscal year 22-23, veterans in Kings County received $81,520,000 in direct compensation and pension payments, which was a 6.6 increase over the prior year. So once again, no general fund impact for this. Our recommendation is that the board adopt a resolution in support of Operation Greenlight for veterans from November 4th through November 11th, 2024, to salute and honor the service and sacrifice of veterans and the men and women in uniform transitioning from active duty service. The resolution has been reviewed and approved by County Council as to form, and I stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions or comments?
Comment, Mr. Chair, if I don't mind. Mr. Chairman, first of all, yes, I'd like to make the motion in support of this, and I do want to thank Scott and his staff and the veterans of Kings County and the folks that are doing the labor. It's a great project, and thank you for taking the time to educate the community on the symbolism and the importance of the project. And so I'm glad to see this happen, continue to happen every year. I reached out to Greg Gatska, city manager of Corcoran. We're going to see about getting those lights turned green again for the 5 pillars of freedom on these same dates as well. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be here next Tuesday, so I do want to make sure you're aware. Corcoran Vice Mayor Pat Nolan and I, we got together a couple of weeks ago, and Corcoran hasn't had a Veterans Day in a long time. I can't remember the last time there was a Veterans Day ceremony. They do a really good job with Memorial Day, but now that we got the 5 pillars of freedom, her and I are going to announce this week that we're going to hold something on Monday, November 11th, on Veterans Day at 10 a.m. It's going to be something very simple, something honorable, but want to start a tradition there. So Corcoran, as well as the county, has another opportunity to come honor some veterans there. And so I'll follow up with you on that. And again, without none of them be here next Tuesday, I want to take the time to say a happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps as well. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I have one comment.
Bud Ross.
Just a brief one. As we know, freedom's not free. So I appreciate all the efforts for the veterans. I like the added feature of the old hospital building. I think that's a real treat. So thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Made the motion.
Motion by Supervisor Valley.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Robinson. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Scott. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have just adopted a resolution in support of Operation Green Light for veterans from November 4th to November 11th. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is going to be from administration, and it looks like we have Matthew Boyette for the services today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Matthew Boyette, Deputy County Administrative Officer, Kings County Administration. So I'm before you this morning to recommend the final uses of our ARPA allocations here ahead of our December 31st, 2024 deadline to go ahead and get that done. I'll go over kind of a brief overview of what we've spent, broken down by fiscal year. Also let you know of those completed projects, what has been unspent, and then recommend the cancellation of 4 projects, and then recommend the use of the remaining funds from the unspent dollars and the cancellation of the 4 projects to ensure that we meet that December 31st, 2024 deadline of obligation and spending by December 2026, and make sure that we spend every dollar and don't send any back to the Fed. So with that, just a little overview. We've received $29,706,802 in our initial ARPA allocation. And from those deposits, we've earned $782,416 in interest, bringing our grand total available in ARPA funding to $30,489,218. So currently, spent by fiscal year, going back to fiscal year 21-22, we had 12 projects and we spent $7,325,437. In fiscal year 22-23, we had 22 projects and spent $7,667,921. And then last fiscal year in 23-24, we had 2 projects and spent $1,664,802. So currently we have 10 active projects, and we've spent so far in those projects $12,039,753. So the recommendation before your board, part of the recommendation is to cancel 4 projects. So these projects are being recommended for cancellation due to the fact that they're either no longer needed or they are no longer able to meet the obligation deadlines of the end of this calendar year or the spend deadlines of 2026. And those 4 projects are the cancellation of the Cohen Clinic project, the 2 MEG generators for the county complex, the IT and dispatch generators, and a Public Works online portal. So canceling all of those projects will free up $1,645,000 in ARPA allocations. And in addition to these canceled projects, we've identified $181,025 in unspent allocations from previously approved projects. that didn't fully spend their allocation. So that brings a total of $1,826,025 in allocations being proposed for new projects this morning. So of that 1.8 million, the first project being recommended this morning is an employee retention and hiring incentive project, which will take the form of $1,000 lump sum bonuses for all full-time employees. And so that's roughly 1,462 full-time employees, and that does include elected officials. In addition to that, that will include $200 lump sum bonuses for all of our part-time employees, which right now we've got roughly 63. And that project grand total with the $1,000 and $200 lump sum bonuses will have a project total of $1,475,400. And the second project before your board this morning for consideration is an executive leadership training project. So in the consent calendar this morning, your board approved an agreement with Cooperative Personnel Services for an executive leadership development training, which that will equip our department heads with critical management and leadership skills, focusing on decision-making, team management, and fostering a positive organizational culture. So this training will emphasize our leaders' jobs to communicate strategy, negotiate skillfully, and influence team behaviors to deliver results and to create an engaging learning experience for all of our employees here. So that is the project funding for that will be to propose to use $6,000 of our ARPA money towards that grand total contract. There is a slight amendment in this morning's agenda. So in the published agenda and what you have before you this morning, there was a proposed project for an additional $152,000 that we were going to give to the Kettleman City Foundation for some facility renovations and repairs. There was a development this morning where they informed the county that they are no longer needing that funding. So the recommendation, the amended recommendation before your board is to then shift that $152,000 into the revenue loss category. And then the last proposed project here is actually an amendment to an existing project. So currently we have a fire department CAD project that actually Ed Ryman spoke about in unscheduled appearances today that enhances computer-aided dispatch capabilities in all of our fire apparatus. And so initially that project was approved by your board at $135,397. But due to the timing of the initial quote and now implementation of that project, the price has increased a little bit. And so the recommendation before your board is to add an additional $24,013 to that project. So with that, that leaves a remaining balance of $168,613 in our allocations. That is all being recommended to go towards the revenue loss. So the total revenue loss with that $168,000, in addition to the amendment this morning of the $152,000 that we diverted from the Kettleman City Foundation project that they're no longer needing. That brings the total amount going into the revenue loss category this morning of $320,613. And this allows us, and why we're kind of putting this in the revenue loss categories, because that allows us to meet the requirements to obligate all of our allocations by the end of this calendar year. Because if we don't obligate it by the end of the calendar year, whatever is not obligated and spent then has to be diverted back to the federal government. And we want to ensure that we spend every last dollar here in Kings County. So all these recommendations before your board this morning help to ensure that we're going to spend every dollar and not send any to the feds. So with that, and this is going to be an amended recommendation versus what you have printed in the agenda, but the amended recommendation before your board this morning is to authorize the cancellation of the following projects: the Cohen Veterans Clinic, the 2 meg generators, information technology and dispatch generators, and the Public Works online portal, totaling $1,645,000, and redistribute those funds to the recommended projects. Authorize the reallocation of unspent funds in the amount of $181,025 from previously approved projects and redistribute those funds to recommended projects. And authorize the use of American Rescue Plan Act funding to pay for the $1,000 lump sum payment for all permanent county employees, including elected officials and the Board of Supervisors. Authorize the use of American Rescue Plan Act funding to pay for the $200 lump sum payments for all extra help employees. Authorize the Human Resources Director to sign the side letters of agreements regarding the $100,000 lump, or $100,000, sorry, $1,000 lump sum bonuses with all bargaining groups. Authorize additional funding for the Kings County Fire Department in the amount of $24,013 for the computer-aided dispatch upgrades. And authorize the funding for the executive leadership development training for department heads in the amount of $6,000. Authorize the use of all remaining American Rescue Plan Act funding in the amount of $320,613 and any other remaining funds to be obligated towards revenue loss. And lastly, adopt the budget change. So with that, that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions and comments? Supervisor Valley.
Mr. Chair, yes. Mr. Chair, can we pull item C to the side for separate discussion? And then I have a couple of comments moving forward with the rest of that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, thanks, Matt. That was very detailed presentation. Appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Thank all the department heads, Carrie and her staff for working to get the money in good places around the communities to our districts as well. And here for public safety and different resources that came through. The $152,000 from the Kellerman City Foundation, I understand that it would be easier to move it to revenue loss to meet the deadline. But before we just put it in there, there's two things. One, I wanted to ask if any of the board members had a need in their district that they wanted to give a heads up to the CAO on. On that 152,000 as a set aside.
Happened too fast.
Yeah, nothing. Well, then, Mr. Chair, I know that as we move that to revenue loss, I was speaking with the sheriff earlier, and I know there's a need for some monies with the helicopter in the sheriff's department for radios and helmets. And I believe that would be an excellent continued use of the resources. And I just want to put that down as a notation. So as it goes to a revenue loss, that would give the sheriff and staff time to agendize and properly present that item to us. But I just wanted to note that and annotate that.
Well,
sure.
My question will be to Carrie. So
Actually, I'm going to have Eric respond to that. We've been working really closely on the financials for that.
Do we have any idea what it cost?
Sure.
A lot, probably the sheriff.
Right. Not always. So the radio itself. So one thing we didn't know, just for context, is when we purchased the helicopter, as you get into this used vehicle now, you find things that we didn't budget for in this upcoming fiscal year. The radio's bad in it. And so the purchase of the radio and the installation of the radio is going to be about $12,000. And then the helmets are about $3,500 each, and we need 2 to 3 of those.
I think the easiest way for us to do this correctly is to put it into revenue loss, and then we can just pay for it because it would require us to go out to RFP, and that process takes months. Mm-hmm. So like that would be my recommendation, just put it revenue loss, and then that'll allow us time. It'll be obligated by the end of this year. We can go through the full RFP process if necessary, and then use the funds to pay for that. It's kind of the same thing, but we just got to jump through those federal guideline hoops.
Yep.
Very good.
Hey, thanks, Sheriff. And then secondly, Mr. Chairman, I know fire was asking for 24,013. Sounds like there was a higher estimate. Were you guys, is that enough to cover what you needed to do, or were you guys being fiscally conservative on that?
No, honorable board member. No, what happened is we identified that the project was initiated a few years back and wasn't completed. And as we know, inflation hits, everything went up. So the actual number that came back, that was the difference. So when we approach administration, we were asking for the opportunity to just pay for the difference so that the department wouldn't have to take the hit on it. Okay. So as of right now, that should be enough to cover.
Should be enough. Okay.
As long as we do it in time.
All right. Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We can, from what I understand, Eric, if we put money in revenue loss, we can pull it from there to help out at any time, correct?
Yeah, so
for the next 2 months.
For the next 2 months.
Revenue loss allows us to cover just general government services.
Okay.
So anything, except there's some limitations to it, but you can't use it for debt service or throw it into reserve fund balance or something like that.
Okay.
But Revenue loss allows us to spend it on anything for general government services. It's pretty open.
As long as it's allocated by December.
We have to obligate it by December 31 this year.
Correct. That's the only,
Yeah.
that's the,
I think we're good.
correct.
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, I'd like to make the motion to approve all these items under D, and then with the set aside of item C for separate discussion.
The motion on the table to approve everything, but item D.
Item C, the $1,000 payments. Yes, sir.
So you want A, B?
All of them minus C.
F, G, H, I, right?
And J. Yes, sir.
Everybody understand that?
No, but.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley. Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
5 in favor on the items presented. We would like to discuss item C.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. One, thank you, Madam CEO. I think it's an excellent way to show continued support for the employees to receive this $1,000 bonus here. When the item states that elected officials, including the Board of Supervisors, will receive the $1,000 lump sum. I saw that on Friday when it came out. One, I am happy with that. I'm glad the assessor, the sheriff, the DA, that money goes out. However, when you read the background report, it says that as far as the Board of Supervisors receiving a $1,000 bonus, it says the Board of Supervisors shall receive upon passing an ordinance on compensation. And as you know, Mr. Chair, our ordinance expired in late summer. We were very aware that the ordinance that we passed 5 years ago that has our salaries attached to a percentage of Superior Court judges, so the board wouldn't have to be in the uncomfortable position of voting on their own raises from time to time. And because that was something new that had never been done in the county, I think that board, if I remember right, we put a 5-year sunset on that ordinance just to see if that was going to work out and to have a chance to come back and regroup. Well, we knew that was expiring, but because as leaders, what we wanted to do, we were very clear with staff to not do anything with our own salaries until the board had a chance to work with the unions, the organizations, the troops, the employees always come first before us. That's the way it's always been. And I'm very glad that that's the way we do it. So now our ordinance has expired. So I guess my question would be, and I don't know, it's to the CAO or to county council, but the first question I have, Mr. Chair, through you, would be why does there need to be an ordinance in place for the board to receive the bonus? Okay.
Yeah, I can help respond to that. The California Constitution requires that the Board of Supervisors set compensation by ordinance. A bonus by its nature is compensation. So without an ordinance in place authorizing that compensation, including an ordinance subject to a 60-day referendum, then there is no authority and it would be illegal to distribute money to the board outside the existence of an ordinance authorizing it.
Well, based on that, then why is the Board of Supervisors getting paid every 2 weeks? If we're operating without an ordinance and you're using the word illegal.
That's a very good
For us to
question.
receive compensation, why would the board be getting paid every 2 weeks since it expired a few months ago?
That's a very good question.
I'm looking for you to answer it. No, and that's okay. I don't want to do anything illegal. What I would like an answer.
Perhaps Carrie can provide an answer. I can tell you that if you really want my honest legal opinion and you're asking it for open session, that the compensation likely violates the law.
The fact that the Board of Supervisors gets paid every 2 weeks likely violates the law.
The fact that the Board of Supervisors is getting compensation without that authorized by ordinance likely violates the law.
Okay, so then my next question is, why is the Board of Supervisors just hearing this from you right now? Council, questions
I
to
think
you.
it's been known and aware with admin for many months.
Yeah, but you've been aware the ordinance goes through your office for all the legal language before it comes here. You're part of the team that agendizes this, and you've been very aware that the ordinance has expired. You've been part of sessions where you hear the board talking about delay anything to do with our ordinance until all the employees get paid on their salaries and their negotiations. So you're speaking up on as I understand that you took the question, my original question on why the board can't receive the bonus without an ordinance. But when I'm asking about salary, you wanted to pass it on to CAO or her staff. This is your recommendation that the board not receive this bonus.
I think maybe the notion of what my office does is maybe confused. My office doesn't affect policy. My office doesn't decide the business decisions that the county makes. My office provides legal advice.
Okay, so when you heard the board talk about delaying our ordinance, where was your legal advice that, because I think the most simplest thing that we could have done was a couple of months ago before it expired, roll out our ordinance and keep the salaries the same, make it very clear to the employees. The board is doing this just so the ordinance doesn't expire so they can receive their pays, their regular paydays, and passed a simple 90-day ordinance that would expire hopefully at the time that all the unions and organizations got an agreement with the county and we moved forward last to take up our own compensation. Why wouldn't, where was the council on that?
The county council was supporting administration in the decisions that they made.
So you don't want to take any responsibility for the board? What, for the board just hearing about this right now from you? Because I'm disappointed that I'm just now hearing this about this. The board works hard, just hard as everybody else. And again, you know, we don't receive COLAs. We didn't do a $15,000 bonus for us. We didn't do a $10,000 bonus for us as like you received. But here it is time for $1,000 bonus. And you're recommending that the board cannot get this.
Let me be very clear. I provide legal advice. If the board wants to instruct administration to issue a check and a $1,000 bonus absent an ordinance, then that is a policy decision made by the board at the direction but it's not a legal issue. My legal advice is what my legal advice is. It would be contrary to the law. And I don't affect policy. The decisions of when to do an ordinance or if to do an ordinance are not made by county council. They're made by the departments assisted by county council.
Yeah, but assisted, so that's where I'm going back to, council. You're very aware that our ordinance expired, right? Did you ever hear from the county CAO that this was going to be an issue in regards to our salary or our bonus?
The county CAO has informed me that the ordinance has expired. And we had a discussion regarding that, and I provided her my legal analysis.
When did that take place?
I think that there's been discussions recently and there's been discussions months ago.
Months ago, so that's what I'm saying. You were aware months ago, and your council could have been some kind of movement, suggestion, legal advice to the Board of Supervisors to do something about that ordinance before it expired, because now, according to you, every 2 weeks when we get paid, it's illegal. And that's not a comfortable position that I want to be in, and I don't appreciate being in that. You don't have anything to say about that?
I think I've said everything that I can say.
Supervisor Valley, so we are aware that the ordinance has expired and we do have a plan of action to correct that. We anticipate bringing the first reading on November 26th and with an action item to vote on it on December 10th.
So between now and December 10th, the board will get paid illegally every 2 weeks.
You get 60 days to get a $1,000 bonus.
Yeah, so I understand that the bonus would come at that time. I'm just disappointed that we're just now hearing about that. Council's job is to make sure the Board of Supervisors is well aware of an issue like that. It doesn't come up and buried in a background memo on a Friday afternoon, roughly just over 72 hours where we have to vote on it. We need to be more informed on something that critical on it. So please don't get me wrong, Mr. Chairman, I'm not crying that I'm not getting $1,000 bonus. What I'm trying to do is point out that this is a critical matter. This is something that the board should have been fully aware of, especially when it comes to opinion of council's opinion on our salaries. The $1,000 bonus is minute compared to that as well.
Okay, but this, as it is, we well heard, we understand where you're coming from, and council's heard you. At this point, we don't want to tie up $1,000 bonuses to our.
No, I'm not stressing
Points
that.
been made that.
Yes, sir.
We should have been done about this sooner. And so we'll look into it and get back to you. But
Yes, sir. And I'm happy to make the motion and get this money out to our hardworking employees and our other elected officials. Mr.
we have a
Chairman.
motion by Supervisor Valley.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Comment from.
sorry, go ahead. And after Sheriff Robinson, then.
I
TD
apologize
Captain.
for jumping in. I just had a clarification question, and if it's in the agenda, I missed it. Is there a drop dead date? So like if people that we're hiring right now in between, if approved between now and December 26th or whatever the date is of this year, do those new employees coming in also get it, or is it just a drop dead? If it approved today, it goes back to last week or whatever the date is? Just looking for clarification. Thank you.
I believe it's going to be whoever in, Curie, correct me if I'm wrong, all active employees that are, employees of the county on the, effective date of November 25th, 2024 of pay period, which is pay period 25. So everybody at that point will then receive those bonuses there. So,
And Carolyn, I think, wants to say something.
Yes.
From HR.
and then after Carolyn, Ms. Hacker wants to say a piece too. So thank you.
And then what about the retirees as well? That staff that has separated from the county in the last? So just be thinking about that as well.
We had put active employees. So if they're active, the pay period that it becomes effective.
Correct.
Our goal is for November 25th for the majority of the employees, but I do want to point out that I do have one contract that's up for vote right now. That's a tentative agreement. And if that goes through, they'll be the first ones to receive it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman and the board. I just wanted to reach out and say thank you to your kindness and consideration for our employees. Money doesn't come easy, especially in these times. And I appreciate that the board is reaching out and appreciating their employees and paying them in their gratitude, as well as this $1,000 bonus. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Any other comments on the board? We have a motion on our table.
Second.
Second by Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Okay, 5 in favor. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on now to board member announcements and reports. Who would like to go first? Supervisor Neves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last Wednesday, the Kings Area Public Transit Agency held their October meeting. The mitigation cooperative agreement with the transit agency and Caltrans was discussed and approved. The substance abuse policy, 3 more change orders for the transit center construction project was as well as an amendment to market Route 15 that connects Visalia. That will be moving up to 7 weekday runs and 4 weekend and holiday runs into Tulare County, mainly Visalia. Budget was adopted for furniture and equipment and computers in the new center, as well as replacement for emergency bus lifts that pick up the buses to be allowed them to be worked on and for safety improvements were also discussed and approved. The cancellation of the November and the December regular meetings were approved, and December 11th was set as a special meeting to handle the remaining issues that will still be calendared for 2024. The Kings County Association of Governments also held a meeting. The selection of the audit firm to conduct the triennial performance audit was selected. Also an amendment for the overall work program, master fund agreement, and all the discussion was discussed and approved. A couple of safe streets and roads grants were also approved for Corcoran and Lemoore. And that meeting also for the November, December will be moved to December 11th. I want to thank everyone for the public safety event that was held in Kettleman City on Thursday. Special thanks to Richard Fagundes, Richard Valley, Chief Flores, John Devlin and his wife, along with my wife Kathy, to prepare the hot dogs. Some of us even washed our hands, so it worked out very extremely well. Not everybody, but yeah. Alexander and the whole OES staff did an outstanding job for the first time. I certainly want to thank and commend them, and we'll move forward in the future and hope that that event stays part of the OES outreach and part of the fire department as well as public safety. I want to thank the book sale at the Hanford branch of the Kings County Library on Saturday. I took my wife and it only cost me $20. So thank you very much for that. Ended up getting all of the Harry Potter books, which now she has 2 whole sets. And
That's her husband.
yeah, it's probably for their next one. Yeah. And as well as some Dr. Seuss books. Which will be come in handy in the future for Read Across America. I think those classic books are very much, I appreciate more than some of the more modern stuff. So Vicki, thank you very much. Sunday, the Knights of Columbus held their pancake breakfast, as well as I turned into a Presbyterian for a couple hours for their Pipes in the Park. If you are used to comparative religions, the Presbyterians separated from the Roman Catholics about 507 years ago, and the Scottish part of it took place, and that's where the bagpipes and the drums come in. Very interesting history, a little research project, but it was a very nice time to be in the park in Lemoore and have services. I also attended the Sons of Italy Spaghetti Feed. It was a takeout event on Sunday. No carbs, no sugar, but I can't figure out where all my sweetness came in on Monday morning. But I know it was there somewhere. On Monday, the Kings United Way referral system demo comes from Monterey United Way, a system that will probably not replace but enhance the 211 system and be able to help individuals as they do outreach for needs in the community. And then yesterday, the Kings County Behavioral Health Advisory Board unfortunately was not able to make quorum, so we weren't able to approve the bylaws that need to come to this board to be able to drop the quorum so that we can have official meetings and get the bylaws. So we're kind of caught in a quandary, but the advisory board bylaws have been reviewed multiple times now. All of the changes have been in place. Now we just have to get some legal adoption of that from the advisory board to bring here to be able to bring that forward. We also had an interesting presentation on the payment reform changes that are coming up as far as behavioral health, and certainly appreciate that. A very new way of doing business, but I think it's going to enhance the revenue side of behavioral health services and focus more on service deliveries as well as maintenance. So with that, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Fagundes.
Also attended and helped at the Kettleman City, and I appreciate all the help that everybody's done. It was amazing. Everybody that came out and the help that was there to help, and it makes it a lot easier, and it just makes it kind of a unite community. And then on Sunday, I went to the breakfast, Lemoore Knights of Columbus breakfast. And then Layton had a fundraiser also, so I was able to accumulate with dinner to that day. And then had a slight meeting with Jeff Gardner, KCAO. And with that, that's all I had.
Thank you. Supervisor Valley.
Thanks, Chairman. I also want to thank Supervisor Nez, Supervisor Fagendez, Fire Chief, for leading the charge on those hot dogs and going. I think they did just over 600 or 700 hot dogs and made it look easy. And
800, but who was counting?
about 800. Okay. They made it look very easy. And I know the community appreciate them. I want to thank the staff, health department for everything they did out there. I was able to get a flu shot as well. I hope a lot of other people took advantage of that opportunity and the prizes.
Did you get a sharp needle or one of those?
I got to use one.
You got a used one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That helps the budget a lot though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And so after that, I left Kettleman. I went to Hanford to attend the Valley Voices event. I want to take the time to say Valley Voices, you guys did a good job with your candidates forum. It was very professional. The presentation, good job. Good work. And I'm very sorry to hear about Michael Corbett, Mr. Chair. I didn't know about that until you mentioned it.
He passed away, 82 years old. 82, 83.
About a 20-year, maybe. He was our lobbyist for about 20 years. He was still on when I first came on in 2009. Had the opportunity to go to Sacramento. He planned a day for me, and he was very well known in the Capitol building. He was a character. I think they all loved him up there. We always kept in touch. He was very supportive, even once he didn't have our contract here anymore. And I believe that is, I want to say thank you to the chief for the helmets and thank you for your service, Chief. I'm happy for you, but I'm sad to see you go as well. We're going to feel the impacts of that for a long time to come, I believe. And I hope we could get just as lucky and, find a new fire chief in time. I believe that's going to take a lot of time to do that. It's going to take a lot of resources to find somebody like you. But thank you. You got my 1000% support moving forward. It's all positive. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm going to have a little comment here. I know Supervisor Neves talks about all the things he does with all the committees. And so during the campaign season, we hear a lot of stuff about people running for Board of Supervisors that we only work a half a day on Tuesday. And as you can see by Supervisor Neves, his plate's very full. And mine's full as well, like most of ours is. So from this committee here, from being on the Board of Supervisors, I belong to the Kings County Association of Governments along with Supervisor Neves. When I belong to that one, that's the Transportation Committee. I also belong from that committee. I'm appointed on to Regional Policy Council, which goes out and finds funding in Sacramento and DC for transportation needs that are federally and statewide. And then from that, I was appointed on to the San Joaquin Valley JPA, which is the Amtrak. So I'm the vice chairman of Amtrak as well. So we travel to Sacramento once a year. We travel to DC once a year for our transportation needs. This year, I missed the meeting on committee assignments when we went to DC, so I was put on five assignments to
That's
speak.
what happens. You miss a meeting.
So
You get voluntold.
but that's good. I can tell a story, and I always tell a story that is personal to me of how we need funds in our community. So this year, I traveled to Sacramento looking for funds for Grangeville Boulevard to go for underpass. I'm also looking for money for double tracking for the Amtrak. I'm looking for money for Madera High Speed Rail Station, future money for Hanford Rail Station, also the Stockton Diamond. And so with that, then I go to DC, did the same thing. And so on Tuesday night, I got a phone call. I got a phone call previously asked me what my future looked like as being on the board of Supervisors. And I said, I'm going to run again. So I'll do another 6 years at least. And I ran a meeting in Martinez, which had 40 protesters, which was kind of hard to do, but they were impressed the way I ran my meeting. So anyway, the gal that worked for Caltrans and Amtrak called me on Tuesday and says, I need you to be in Tulare for a check presentation. So it was real quiet. No one was known. They didn't want any political people running for office to come take over the show. So I was the only elected official that was there, but I accepted a check on behalf of the Amtrak and the Valley Rail Commission for $70 million. And this goes to help, which is kind of funny for coming from me, but it goes to money for the high speed rail station in Madera, which will be Amtrak and high speed rail. And it also goes for the Stockton Diamond, which helps with the train delay. When we have a train delay in Hanford, we can have a delay up to 2 hours because the two trains meet in Stockton, so they can't pass. So it can back up clear out the middle of the desert in Arizona. So very honored to receive that check. We also got $30 or $50 million to start our Cross Valley Railroad, which would go from Huron, Lemoore, Naval Air Station, Lemoore City, Hanford, Visalia, Tulare, and Porterville. So the beginning of that, Tulare County Associated Governments got that check. So we are getting recognized for our hard work, and we do work more than a half a day on Tuesday. And sometimes it takes a lot of effort, a lot of talent. And I think this is my 14th year. So they're actually hearing what I have to say in Sacramento and DC. And it's kind of cool because we were in Washington, DC about 6 weeks ago, and I had about 35 seconds to tell my story about what we needed for the rail. And I just made it personal about building custom cars and not wanting to drive on their crappy ass roads. And I can't meet my on-time performance because of the rail, because we're always plugged up with the Stockton Diamond. And so we got done with the meeting, we left, and the secretary to the president for intergovernmental relations called me back to ask me more questions. And so with this check here, it looks like we're going to have another $50 or $60 million and another $200 million come down for Stockton Diamond from our efforts promoting what we need here in California. So even though we represent Kings County, we're getting recognized federally and statewide. So just wanted to share that with you. Thank you. Thank you. By the way,
The only thing, I can't find a ATM that'll cash that check.
it says right here in the corner, no cash value.
Oh,
That's why I got it.
that must be why they gave it to you, but I was sure looking for an ATM that would be able to accept that check.
It's kind of cool. I mean, here's a guy that was fighting high-speed rail. And so I'm the only one they have on their side now, help
Yeah.
defend their project to get it done because I want them out of my county.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you. Supervisor Robinson.
First, I just want to offer my condolences to the family of Ernie Wing. Ernie Wing was one of the principals for Superior Dairy, and his passing was last week. He's my neighbor, but he's also a family friend to all of us. I know a lot of members in the community knew him and know his family. So my family's offering his prayers for him. Also, a shout out to Patricia Matthews and the Lemoore Rec Department. I spent some of the weekend out there with my son playing football again, and it's well managed. It's also well volunteered. They have a good number of family members out there that volunteer. They said, I think they were only short 4. They only had to ask for 4 volunteers this time because everybody had stood up in advance. So there you are. Thank you. And then lastly, just a thank you to Steve and Teresa Diaz. Every year they have an annual Halloween party where everyone dresses up. My son uses that as an opportunity to insult me. So I was Gru this year, and I think he was a minion. But at any rate, they do a phenomenal job for the kids to offer them a safe Halloween party. So thank you to Steve and Teresa Diaz.
Very good. This time we'll move to board correspondence. Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the board received the month fund balance report from the Treasurer Reporter Cash Investments, both for September 2024 and the quarterly portfolio compliance report period for July 1st through September 30th from the Department of Finance. The board received correspondence from the California State Controllers regarding our Kings County Department of Finance receiving an award for the county financial transaction reporting for fiscal year June 30th, 2023. So I would like to take a moment to thank Eric. We've actually are up to date on all our financials, and we haven't been able to do that in the past. So
Thank you, Eric. Thank your staff too.
So the board lastly received email correspondence from a flyer from October 20th from Valley Voices regarding a voter education event that will take place October 31st at the Visalia Convention Center. For upcoming events, the Kings County Behavioral Health will be hosting their community meeting on that B-CHIP grant. That will take place tonight from 5:30 to 7 here on campus. The event invites the community to share feedback and learn more about the proposed project to renovate the Kings County Public Health Building. Kings County will host its annual Halloween competition this Thursday, October 31st, and this is for employees only. The judging for the office decorating contest will take place at 9, and the costume party contest will begin at 1:30 in the administration multi-purpose room. And lastly, the Kings County will be hosting their South Valley Battle of the Badges Blood Drive November 5th through the 7th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if employees don't normally donate, this is a time to do it because we are competing other various agencies. The event will take place here next to the old sheriff's office. For upcoming agenda items, we have a big agenda for November 5th as we are dark the following 2 board meetings. So administration has 7 items, recognizing the clerk of the board supervisors week recognition, approving some issuance of bonds for CalPFA, the approval of some care court funding agreement with the state, rural counties representatives of California delegation and alternative designations for all 4 programs that they have. Behavioral health has 1 item on a purchase of workstation. Community development has an item on planning commission action, and the California Land Conservation William Act program modification public hearing. District attorney has 2 items, an advanced step higher for a district attorney investigator, and it has some purchase of firearms for some retired members. Fire has 1 item regarding a repair for the Dozer 9. Health has I believe this is the item to actually make the repair, right? Another one? Okay, sorry. So it's the second item for the repair for the Dozer. So health has 4 items. Solid waste has a agency grant agreement. Calviva has some sponsorship donation for the WIC program, and it's Prematurity Awareness Month in November. So we have a proclamation for that, and the deletion of some laboratory positions and addition of a program specialist position. This is all related to the fire that occurred at the Public Health Department. Human Resources has 3 items: continued county service award presentation, a new job specification for Deputy Director of Public Works, and a new job spec changes for the District Attorney's Office. IT has 1 item on some backup storage expansion. Sheriff has 2 items, some purchase of handguns, and a resolution with the California Department of Parks and Recs. And that concludes my report. Like I said, big agenda for the 5th.
Okay, thank you very much, Kyria. Also, Sal, thank you again for spending a short time with us. We do wish you all the best. We wish it could have worked out longer, but no hard feelings. Yeah, we want to get that done as soon as possible. So I don't know. But thank you again for your time, and thank you for the helmet. That's a very nice gesture. And it was kind of funny. My daughter had a date. She dated a guy who was a fireman, so I get to wear the helmet now. All right, so we'll go ahead and move to closed session as outlined, and we'll be back here next Tuesday. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.